channel. Dito ko ngayon sa Lubog Plaza, dito sa Lubog Mall. So yun guys, sa video na ito, i-share ko sa inyo ang panayam ng mga estudyante kay Pangulong Bongbong Marcos. So ito na, panoorin nyo ito.
Good afternoon po, Mr. President. So first, I'd like to introduce ourselves first.
Okay.
So as I'm Agripino John Patrick M. Gaan po, AJ, you can call me AJ.
Okay.
And I'm from West Visayas State University College of Law, and of course, the student of the First Lady.
Okay.
Ako naman po, si Janine Lagbawan from Polytechnic University of the Philippines, taking up
Okay.
journalism po, and second year college pa lang po ako.
Okay. All right.
And I'm Kathleen Millionte naman po, from University of the East Manila, fourth year psychology student po, sir.
Oh, she's going to
Yes.
going to analyze. Please, will somebody explain me to me, Panda?
But before anything else po, we'd like to ask your impression because we have seen in your previous podcast, it was seasoned broadcast journalists and us ordinary citizens of the country and students are here in front of you. How are you feeling right now po, Mr.
Great. I much prefer talking to young people, actually, because I always, of course, there are people in your life na talagang kailangan pinapakinggan mo. But you know, with the way things are moving, talking to young people is there's always something new. There's always something, but there is always something new. But they are the people who tell us what's going on. You know, this is what's happening. You know, they'll take away. Matagal na nag-paradigm shift ito. You have to think in another way. So, I like it. I enjoy it.
Since we are all Gen Z po, ano po ba yung klase ng buhay? If you're part of our generation or Gen Zs, how do you think or how do you see yourself po as a Gen Z? More on po ba nag-aaral or party? Ano po ba yung kind of life you would like to have as Gen Z?
I was already a geek before the word geek was invented. I was one of those people who just I don't know. They just pick up all this information, pick up all of it. I would be so happy because the level of information that's available to everyone now, not necessarily a good thing, but the level of it, the amount, the volume of information that's available now. My God, it's so interesting. You can look up anything. I wish I had ChatGPT when I was having to write essays and it's 2 in the morning and hindi mo pa natatapos yung essay mo.
So sir, you mentioned po about the use of ChatGPT po in our generation, sa Gen Z po. So, one thing that concerns me po about the ChatGPT or AI in general po is that it's undeniably a threat to us po, especially students, employees, sa workforce po ng Pilipinas. So, I'm wondering po na kung magkakaroon po tayo ng regulation about AI po, na pwede po nating implement nationwide.
I know, but we are all discussing, pinag-uusapan namin yan dahil sinasabi kahit anong gawin natin, nandiyan parating, hindi parating ang AI, nandiyan na. Dadami lang ng dadami yan, lalaki. I was doing making a list of subjects around AI that I wanted to discuss during the ASEAN. So sinimulan ko, simple lang, AI and education, AI and infrastructure, AI and renewables. Walang katapusan yung listahan. It does not end.
Yes.
The longer you want, the more time you spend on it, the longer that list will become because it's going to touch everything. And it's important for us to understand it. That's why it's not so easy. May kasabihan yan eh. Legislation is always years behind technology. And the reason is, generally, legislators do not immediately understand technology. Meron medyo techie na nakakaintindi, pero karamihan hindi. So, what will you legislate? What's the best way for the Philippines to take full advantage, to maximize the use of AI? The other side of the equation is, what are the things na kailangan bantayan natin? Ayan na, yung mga fake news, yung mga misinformation, yung mga disinformation, etc., etc. I wanted to ask you guys, there's one thing I don't understand about the life on the digital life, is the bullying.
Yes.
Exactly, sir.
Because I think po with our generation and the succeeding generations after us, most of the airtime or the screen time, we are spending a lot of time on gadgets and social media.
Yeah.
And when you are going to experience such bullying, you are being put into public scrutiny, wherein some of the people would get the ride on that specific issue, or like would the comment, it's not only the one person, but the comment of also of yung mga ibang tao din
Yung
na nakikiride,
nagko-comment.
or without even knowing the context.
In the previous years or yung mga taon na physically yung bullying po na nangyayari, when it comes to the bullying po on this generation, nag-i-stay po talaga siya. Even if years passed by, you can always go back, or lagi pong uungkatin ng tao yan. Hindi po siya talagang mawawala sa sistema nila. Lalo pa po kapag kilala ka pong tao.
Siguro po it's the rise then of the cancel culture in our generation. Wherein po
Ayun.
yung cancel culture po, one single mistake and all the things na nagawa mong maganda would be, matatabunan na po siya ng isang problema na nagawa mo, which would greatly affect one's mental health. Actually po, ako din po, I mean, as someone din po who has experienced such difficulties, mental health po kasi, especially in our generation, is still a taboo. We don't treat it na parang how important it is. Feel ko po kulang lang po talaga na we let the children understand that there is life outside the social media world,
Yes.
that you should get to experience life.
That's the only conclusion I can arrive at, na yun ang buong buhay ng kung sino man yun, ano. Basta yung buong buhay niya is online. So what goes online, that's the only important,
Yes.
that's the only thing, not what goes on in real life.
I think po, para po ma-prevent po natin siya in some way, would be, of course, to educate proper online etiquette po talaga. Netiquette, if what we call it po. Ganyan po. Kasi, yung social media is a very huge part of our daily lives na po talaga eh.
We are, in the Philippines, we are one of the greatest users of the internet. Maybe it's just my own experience. But some of the people that bullied me in school became some of my best friends. They really did.
Pareho tayo.
Oh, di ba? Naging kaibigan mo eh. Okay naman talaga eh. Yun lang, siguro nakita ko, gusto ko lang buwisitin, di ba? Di ba? But
We are curious po about your mental well-being, Mr. President. Everyone knows po how immense your role is po sa Pilipinas, sa government po natin. So, despite all that, kamusta po ang mental health mo, sir?
I'm fine. I've siguro over the years nasanay na rin ako sa may malaking advantage ako dahil yung father ko naging presidente.
Yes.
So for 20 years napapanood ko siya. Sabi ko, alam ko ang hirap na trabaho ito. So you have to learn to manage it. Una akong umupo, ayaw kong mag-break. Kasi ang daming trabaho eh. Pero you have to teach yourself, kailangan mo mag-break.
Yes.
Kasi you're not as clear in your thinking when you start to get tired, or di ba? Or you're not as fast. And I've always been ang sistema ko pag may malaking problema, my approach is always like this. I said, learn everything about the problem, then go away and do something else. Do something completely different na hindi mo maiisip.
Yes.
You come back, usually you have a new idea. Usually that works for me. So you have to take that break somehow. I don't mean vacation, 2 months vacation. I'm talking about taking 3 hours off, right? And doing something, I don't know, listen to music or make kwento with your kids or something. But something different. I've been through hell and high water. You know, I don't panic anymore. I don't, hindi na ako natataranta. So that's my advantage.
Thank you for that, sir. Maybe we'll try to do that po.
Yes.
In your case po, ano po usually ginagawa niyo po during that break?
One of the best things for me for relieving stress is exercise. It really, really helps.
Maybe we'll exercise later. And in relation to that question, what is, given that there's a lot going in your plate, what is that personal why of your leadership? Parang it's not in the press release, but what drives you, what excites you the most in serving our country, Mr. President?
I'm here to serve. I'm not here for myself. I'm not here for, but I really think that there are many things that I could do. And I say, you're not yet doing it. Di mo pa natatapos. Go, 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 go. Keep doing it. Keep working, keep working, keep working. Kulang pa, kulang pa, kulang pa. At saka, ang katotohanan dyan, lagi naman magiging kulang yan eh. Kahit ilang taon mo na trinabaho yan, kulang pa rin yan. Kasi hindi nagtatapos yung trabaho. But never mind, you just have to keep going. You have to keep going until you drop.
Now po, na-question po namin your life as a president. How about in a different perspective? Do you once wish to live in a different family background? Or naisip niyo po ba na, if I'm not living as in a political background, what kind of life you would like to be po?
Oh my gosh. Would I want to have been born into another family? Absolutely not. I still consider, para ang tingin ko sa sarili ko, ako na ang pinakaswerteng tao na kilala ko. Wala na akong kilala na tao na maswerte pa sa akin. Dahil ganyan ang naging ama ko, ganyan yung mother ko, dyan ang naging experience ko. Kasi lahat naman ng experience, kahit hindi ka nag-enjoy, may natututunan ka eh. Di ba?
Yes.
It was Nietzsche, di ba? What doesn't kill you?
Pero sir, say if you weren't born po as...
If I wasn't born in my family, you know what? I'll tell you something. That when I was young, I really did not want to enter politics. At saka medyo nadidismaya na sa akin yung magulang ko. Kasi, akong lalaki, isa akong lalaki. Pero ayaw ko. Sabi ko, nakita ko yung magulang ko, ang hirap ng buhay nila, ang daming sakripisyo. Sabi ko, ayoko na, yung matahimik lang na buhay. That's why I went to business school. Pero, hindi ganyan ng buhay. Hindi mo ma-predict eh. Kaya dito ako napunta. Not that I regret anything of it. I do not regret one day.
Since every public role po requires a sacrifice, what do you think? Or ano po yung sa tingin nyo, yung nilet go po ninyo when you became the president? Nga na-miss nyo po ngayong gawin, na hindi nyo na po nagagawa since naging presidente na po kayo?
Tulog.
Parang hindi lang presidente yung
Mahirap matulog. Mahirap buuhin yung tulog. Dahil, kuminsan matatapos ka ng late. Pero kahit na matapos ka ng late, mayroon pang kaunting gagawin na kailangan kang basahin para mag-ready sa the next day. Tapos dahil marami ka masyadong iniisip, pagka nagising ka, may some noise or something, o kinagat ka ng lamok or whatever, paggising mo, ang hirap nang bumalik sa tulog kasi papasok na naman sa isip mo yung mga kailangan gawin, yung mga paano kung ganito mangyari, paano kung ganyan magkaplano.
How are you naman po as a father? How do you discipline your child or your children? Or how do you be a role model po para sa kanila?
That's one thing that I truly believe in, is that you teach by example. Because in my own experience, all the things I learned from my father, hindi yung, upo ka rito, the lesson for today is ganito, ganyan. Walang ganon. Basta nakikita ko lang yung mga ginagawa niya. Kung minsan magtatanong ako sa kanya, bakit ganon? Bakit yan? Ba't si ganyan? Bakit hindi? Sasagutin naman ako.
So, sir, we're talking about your family dynamics po. No? So, I want to ask po, since you are the son of our late president, Ferdinand Marcos Sr. po, is there anything po na you would have done differently from the decisions he made during his term po?
We don't do things the same way anymore. You shouldn't be doing the same things as you were doing in 1975 or 1980. This is a different world. And every day, we spend hours with my advisors think out of the box. Stop thinking the same old way. It doesn't work anymore. My hope, and the reason the structural change is important, is because kahit wala na ako rito, sana yung mga pagbabagong na simula namin o na tumatakbo na, matuloy-tuloy na para hindi na matanggal. Do it in such a way that it will continue, it will even get better, especially if we choose our presidents well. So that's what's behind all of that.
I'm curious po, is there anything na tinuro po ng father niyo po sa inyo na you still apply up to now? Whether sa work niyo po as president or personally po?
Many things. Dami. Kung minsan may nangyayari, tapos may response ako. Tapos may isip ko, paano ko alam gawin yun? Kasi naalala ko na, years ago, nakita ko sa father ko, meron siyang ginawang ganon at magandang naging resulta. Kaya doon ako natuto. I think the basic thing that that I learned from my father is don't stop. If you believe in something that you're doing for the country, for your people, do not stop. You will have to sacrifice. Ganyan talaga ang trabaho. You will have to sacrifice. Masasaktan ka, you will have to make sacrifices, but don't stop. You will fail. You have to stand up again. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop.
Let's go to something po a little bit closer to us naman po as
Okay.
students. One major thing that concerns us po would be the education sector po.
Naturally.
Ayan ba. So, yung proposed national budget po natin for 2026 for the education sector is a record high 1.38 trillion pesos po, accounting to roughly 20% po ng total spending po. And despite this amount po, meron pa rin pong budget cuts ang SUCs po natin, state U's and colleges. So, if in this case po, saan po napupunta yung most po yung ng allocation po ng budget natin for education if not sa state U's and colleges po?
Yeah. Well, first of all, hindi napapabayaan ng SUCs. The budget for the maintenance and the continued operation of our SUCs is 185 billion. Hindi natin sinasabi that we're not attending to the SUCs. The rest of the funding is going to go to talagang primary. Para kang nagpapatayo ng bahay. Yung pundasyon natin napakahina eh. Na-neglect natin yung education ng napakatagal.
Yes.
Biruin mo, we have 160,000 shortage of classrooms. How did that happen? Paano, if they built 20,000 classrooms every year for the last 30 years, wala tayong problema. So, kailangan natin maghabol. So, we are spending it, number one, of course, on classrooms. And we are finding all of the kinds of ways to build classrooms more quickly. Yung support natin sa teacher. Equipment, computer, wala tayong computer. Ang dami pang eskwelahan, walang internet. Down to the toilet in the school.
Yes po.
Hanggang doon, kailangan natin ayusin lahat. Nadismaya ako to see the results of the Philippines in the grading ng STEM, especially STEM subjects. We're in a technological world now. We're living in a technological world, highly technological world. Paano naman wala tayong anghinan natin sa STEM subject? What's important to me is that every Filipino, ang galing kasi ng Pinoy. Nakikita na natin to eh. Ang galing ng Pinoy, ang sipag ng Pinoy, ang pumunta ka anywhere kung saan may Pinoy, mahal na mahal nila yung Pilipino nilang kaibigan, o co-worker, o yung nag-aalaga sa anak nila, o nag-aalaga sa lola nila, o yung engineer na nagtayo ng building. They just love Filipinos. I hear leaders of rich countries tell me that, without the Filipino workers, our country would not be this successful as it is now. They were there for the last 25 years and we built up our country because of the Filipino workers. And they just love it. In other words, you give Filipinos a good opportunity, they'll shine. That's why it's important na ayusin natin ang education para lahat ng Pilipinong magagaling mabigyan ng pagkakataon na sumikat sila, whether at home, whether in government, whether abroad, anywhere. Basta't nabigyan sila ng magandang pundasyon, magandang edukasyon, kaya nilang sumabak kahit saan. Makipagsapalaran sila kahit saan sa buong mundo.
In relation to that, sir, I'm originally from the province of Antique, and there are still a lot of remote communities in our province, which I know that
I think we're building a new university.
Yes po, and laying this down, sir, yung mga programa po natin sa edukasyon, since I visited those communities, kahit po doon po, yung ratio po ng teachers is one teacher is for through 3 grade levels. She's teaching grade 1, grade 2, and grade 3. And at the same time, these children don't have even sleepers, they don't have even resources for class. I mean, I'm very passionate about this because I've seen it. So I want to address this. How can we make this more equitable so that those far-reaching communities could also be reached by your program?
Well, that's basically it. Be reached by the program. We have to have kung walang school building, wala, talo na kagad, di ba? You're way behind immediately. Hindi pa nagsisimula, wala na, luging-lugi ka na. The education is one of those things that I hope we can get started in such a way na kahit wala na ako dito, kahit na wala na kami dito, not my administration is no longer here, that this will continue, that this will masanay ang tao so that it becomes na nga a right. And if it is taken away from you, you can demand for it to be brought back. Karapatan namin yan, magkaroon ng ganyan. Huwag niyong tatanggalin yan.
Yes.
And that's what I want to instill in everybody. That's what I want to instill in government. That's what I want to instill in the people. That it is a right.
Yes.
You can demand it. It is a right.
So I think, Mr. President, we're running out of time and hindi ko naman po gustong i-waste ang opportunity nito para maitanong ko po sa inyo ito personally because I really wanted to ask this personally po sa inyo. Because as someone who
I'm scared.
aspires,
What is this? What
as
is
someone
this?
who aspires to enter public service someday,
Yeah.
what is the one thing that you want me to know that you should have known prior to entering public service?
I think you're well guided so long as you enter politics for the right reason. And there's only one right reason. To serve.
To serve.
There's no other correct reason. It's a thankless job, that's for sure.
And a sleepless
But
job.
it's worth it. You know, it's worth it. You know, when you see something change for the good, that you made it happen. Ikaw may, that changes your world. There's nothing better. There's nothing better than to help somebody outside of yourself, outside your family, your community, your country.
Yes.
May nagawa ka, nagbago yung buhay ng tao. Can you imagine, binago mo yung
Yes.
buhay ng tao? What a privilege to be able to do that.
I just have one question na we're very curious about kasi as a president po, you can have everything you want. Kasi you have the money and you have the privilege din po as well. Ngayon na magpapasko na po, what is something that the president want na hindi po siya, it's tangible and intangible at the same time that kahit presidente ka, parang ang hirap siyang ma-achieve. Something that you really wanted to have this Christmas.
I don't know how specific you want to get, but that for Christmas, that the legislature will provide us a good budget.
Yes. We also wish for that.
That will make for a very nice Christmas. Intangible, more time with my family.
Yes.
Yes.
You know, in this job, you cannot hang, you can't chill.
Yes.
There's wala na yun. So, of course, we used to enjoy that very much, especially when we were living in Ilocos. Wala pang trabaho yung mga bata. Simpleng-simple lang yung buhay namin noon. I miss that. But, you know, I'm not saying I'm not happy to be here. I'm happy to be here because you're given, again, the privilege to help, to do something, to help people's lives. That's the biggest privilege that anyone can give you.
Yes.
If you're in public service, that's a golden.
So that's all po. Merry Christmas and namamasko po kami. So thank you so much po, Mr. President. And Merry Christmas po.
Then guys, ito pa rin tayo sa Lubok Plaza dito sa Lubok, Bohol. Hindi na panood ang panayam ng mga estudyante kay Pangulong Bongbong Marcos. Guys, sa mga tanong ng mga estudyante, kung gusto niyo yung video na ito, please like, share, subscribe, i-click the bell icon para updated kayo sa mga videos na upload ko pa. Bye!